Hello, everyone. Settle in, grab a snack, buckle up, drop in, drop out, tune in, and explode. All that shit. Because today we're going back to something I read out a little bit over a month ago. It is the next installment of Slayer's Infernal Wanderings. I only read the beginning of it because I wanted to have it up on Wattpad. But at this point, I think I might just put it up on Kindle or something, because it didn't get any attention whatsoever on Wattpad. So even if it's up on Kindle for free, there's that. Okay, so I guess the last time was the prologue in chapter 1. How long is this again? Like 72 pages? Huh. Okay. I forget how long chapter 2 is. Hey, last edit, June 15th. Gonna adjust one of the character names so it's Alexis, not Alexa. Okay. Chapter 2, The Gang's All Here. Brandon, Jake, and Cassandra were greeted excitedly by Alexis, Matthew, and Damien. Catherine stood a few feet away, a dark look on her face. Jake asked Alexis why, and she scoffed. She's been like that since she saw me. Just ignore her. Brandon spotted the food that was waiting for them. Excellent! I'm starving. He led the way as Jake, Alexis, Matt, and Damien also turned to the food. Cass, meanwhile, walked over to Catherine and started talking to her in a low voice. "Where's Shanna?" Brandon asked, munching on some potato chips. "Dunno," Matt answered, stealing a chip from him. "I think she went off to find Jericho or something." "Really?" Alexis said. "Yeah, I think so."
I don't know that one.
"Shut up, Alexa." "Yeah, I think so," Matt replied. "I think you were in the bathroom or something when she left." Alexis had a pensive look on her face as she opened a bottle of water. Meanwhile, Jericho and Locke were talking to Commander Priest in his office. Locke had a tumbler of whiskey in his hand, while Jericho had a glass of water. Priest cleared his throat before he spoke, and I apologize if I sound kind of weird today, because apparently I woke up all stuffy and shit, and I took my Allegra, and I used some of my nasal spray, and I'll just have to wait and see if it actually helps. Locke, it's good that you and your friends are here. We've been hard pressed the last couple of months. Yeah, Oakhaven is nothing like here. Vamps are stronger, faster, Jericho said. Yes, the Archangel told us as much. As you know, Jericho left Oakhaven several days after the Shadow Blight had killed Alexis, who was the Rosabella. We found him much the same way as your friends. Not only the three with you, but the others as well. On the street and fighting the vampires the best they could, but were still beaten. May I ask, Jeremiah, just who you are these days? I am the leader of the Shadowhawks, an organization begun by my great-grandfather Ezekiel, dedicated to the protection of the human race from the dark forces. My family was one of demon hunters. It was in our blood. My great-grandfather had been such, working for the church and serving as the patriarch of our family. I am now the last of my family. I decided to continue the Shadowhawks, finding those who had been wronged in some way by vampires, or their evil brethren, and sought vengeance. As for my students, Jericho amongst them, I trained them, further if necessary, in the arts of stealth and deception. By an intense blend of ninjutsu, weapons, martial arts, and magic, they were ready to fight. I chose to give my organization an identity similar to a defense agency. Our skills are more suited for dealing with the more powerful creatures here, outsmarting a most dangerously intelligent enemy, one you often did not encounter in Oakhaven. Sires and sirens are older, deadlier, and much more cunning than the vermin twisted by the energies of the Hellmouth. At that point, the door of the office creaked open, and Shanna peered inside. "Oh, I'm sorry, Commander, I didn't think you—" "It's quite all right, Shanna. Would you care for a quick drink?" Um, no thanks, Commander. Could, could I borrow Jer?" "Certainly, my dear girl. Keep him as long as you like. I dare say you will enjoy each other's company." The commander flashed a slight smile, and one gold-capped tooth glinted against his glass of scotch. Jericho got up and left the room, closing the door after him. Six minutes. Locke stared at his old friend. "I have a feeling that Shanna plays into this. Would you care explaining how?" "Ah, yes. Shanna was once one of us. Unfortunately, she joined only to humor us. At the time, she did not believe in vampires. Her experience with Dante changed her mind, however." "Dante? He was a member of your organization?" "For a time, yes. He was hunting and killing vampires long before we came into existence. I had clashed with him over his extreme methods several times over the years, but we forged a respect for one another. He agreed to show Shanna the truth. The shock of it turned her world upside down, especially when her family was found slaughtered." "Slaughtering families must be a favored tactic," Locke said darkly. "Regrettably, yes. Shanna trained under Dante and learned much from him. Even so, she was always headstrong. Unbeknownst to her, the attention of Igden Crowley, the vampire prince of this city, had been drawn to her. It was then we shifted into action against him. Although we have managed to dispatch many of his underlings, his top lieutenants remain elusive, as does he. You met his right-hand man tonight, Leon Victorine. His human name, born into a wealthy Spanish family some 3 centuries ago. He chose the name Andros as his new one when he became a creature of the night, however, as he had always been fascinated by the occult, and his fascination was fueled by his personal wealth. He was an arrogant, vain, and cruel man, and embraced his turning. Andros. He named himself after the mythical demonic killer of men. Yes, and his cowardly servant, Felipe, followed after his master, aiding him in his macabre pursuits. Felipe became known as Floros, after the demonic assistant of Andros. The two served Crowley well during 2 centuries of rampaging through Europe. They then arrived on American shores and lay dormant for 6 decades, as it seems only recently have they awakened, along with legions of their minions, sanguinite followers of the fallen angel Leomnesis, maven of bloodshed. Crowley is now wealthy as well. He moved into the old mansion on Overlook Hill, and many of the city's officials and law enforcement are in his pocket. He poses as the owner of the Viper's Nest nightclub to present a respectable front as a wealthy manager of a chain of nightclubs. I believe he also has a stake, no pun intended, in the Heavenly Bodies nightclub back in Oakhaven. It seems we have more than one formidable foe to contend with, then. Yes, as many of our agents have died trying to defeat them. That, and we have learned of the existence of a vixen named Allura, who has proven nearly impossible to stop. You may have known her once before as the sorceress Gemini, spawn of the Hell Lord Sirius. She became the lover of the Hell Lord Flamescourge for a time, but eventually came to Helton. Her powers have increased exponentially since she came here, as she has killed and fed off many of the agents we sent to capture or eliminate her, as well as many innocents. Dante told me of her before, though I never quite saw where her powers lie. She is rather adept at hand-to-hand combat and has the dark arts at her disposal. However, she is a succubus by nature. With her powers amplified by the blood she has consumed, she is nearly more powerful than Crowley. And yet, where do her powers lie? Her powers are of seduction, my good man. Does the word succubus mean nothing to you? Though the spawn of a Hell Lord, she is a unique hybrid of a Sanguinite and a Nosonite, meaning that for her, blood is food, pain, as Nosonites are known for reveling in, increases her power, emotional agony more than physical suffering. But to her, sex is a game, and her charms are so strong that even those with their minds shielded against it will still succumb. This is how she has escaped us, as she has compelled the agents capturing her to let her go. Crowley's attentions on Shanna are not merely for himself, but we suspect for Allura as well. I do not know if Shanna ever told you this, but she had returned to Oakhaven to seek you and your friends out. She mentioned that you could help. I believe that was on the night that she was killed by Jake, as she had run into him at a most unfortunate time. She explained to him that she had some trouble back in Helton. This was the trouble. But now I must tell you, however, when Crowley learns of Handra's failure to drain your friend Cassandra tonight, she will be inserted into the Fiend's plans. Whatever they are, I dare not to think about. Locke stood up and finished his drink. Thank you for the whiskey, Jeremiah, though I do find it strange that a man of the cloth still enjoys alcohol. I would say the same of you, Locke. You had quite a taste for Jack Daniels and sake when I first met you. But that was before my clerical training. You are not so different now. A man of the cloth and a man of the sword. A most interesting combination. Meanwhile, as the two men were talking, Shanna had led Jericho down the hall by the hand. As soon as they were around the corner, Shanna pinned him against the wall and kissed him so fiercely that for a second or two he saw stars. Shanna, what? Shanna backed away. I wanted to do that for a while. Don't worry, I won't tell Alexis. Alexis, Jericho said with a misty look coming over his face. Shanna bit her lip and let her hand slowly uncurl from his. Look, I'm gonna go work out and take a shower. I'll talk to you later, okay? Okay, I guess. When she had gone, Jericho felt his mouth, which was still buzzing from the force of the kiss. Damn, he said under his breath, running a hand through his curly brown hair. Things are about to get really complicated. Brandon tried flexing his fingers when sharp lances of pain arced through them. Shit! He snarled, remembering the fact that they had been stomped on. I forgot my fingers were broken. Ah, shoot, Matt piped up. Dude, I forgot. Come on, let's get you to the medic. Cassandra peeled away from Catherine and joined Brandon as Matt led them to the hospital bay. Jake trundled off to the bathroom after asking Damien where it was. Damien then flopped down on the couch and turned on a game. This left Alexis and Catherine alone, glaring at each other from across the room. Matt led Bran and Cass to the infirmary. How do you know your way around so well? Matt laughed nervously and pulled at the collar of his shirt. Well, back when you found me a few summers ago, I was on the street fighting some vamps. Yeah, and? Well, Commander Priest sent me to keep an eye on Shanna. Problem is, I got kinda lost. Did he yell his head off at you? Well, not really, since he knew Shanna could look after herself, but sometimes it's worse for somebody to ignore you than yell, you know. So, you're one of the Shadowhawks? Yeah, I never got the cool tattoo, though. I was just a techie. I wanted one, but they only give them to the agents. Personally, I think the Commander Priest was hopped up on the Matrix or something. Yeah, just let us in there. Oh, right, sorry. Cassandra smiled at him as she took Brandon by the arm and steered him along. Matt held the door for her. Inside, he introduced them to the pretty nurse, a redhead named Rose. Yeah, I know, real creative, right? She was wearing a white tank top with a large red cross on it and jeans, as well as a pair of blue cross trainers. She also had a heart with the word love printed on it tattooed on her upper left arm. A pair of wire-rimmed glasses perched on her nose. Why are you guys so obsessed with tattoos? Brandon asked, throwing up his hands and receiving another jolt of pain. Ow! Sit down, question boy, and let me take a look at those fingers, Rose said, a small smile on her face as she examined Brandon's hand. Well, what's the diagnosis, Doc? You're lucky. Your fingers are just hyperextended. Hang on. Rose cracked Brandon's finger joints. Despite the pain, he could feel them settle back into place. Damn! He yelped. Rose smacked him lightly in the arm. Oh, shut up, you big baby. That didn't hurt. Says you, Brandon retorted. You didn't get your fingers popped back into place. If it'll help, I'll kiss them better, Rose giggled, touching the fingers to her lips playfully. Okay, Rose, Cassandra said in a humorless tone. I think he's all better now. Oh, I'm sorry, the nurse said in a cool voice. Sorry, what's your name? Cassandra. Cassandra, what seems to be the problem? Besides the fact that you're flirting with my boyfriend? Nothing, Cassandra replied icily. Brandon cupped a hand to the side of his mouth as he muttered, to Matt, not Carlos. Dude, what's gotten into the girls lately? It's like Catfight City or something right here. I don't know, man. Rose cleaned and stitched up Brandon's and Cassandra's wounds. She was gentle with Brandon, but when she turned her attention to Cassandra, she needled her as hard as she could as she sewed up the stitches. You kids done? Matt said flippantly, crossing his arms. Yeah, I guess. Let's roll, Brandon said, stretching his hands. Cass brushed past him without a word. Matt, joke around Red here. I'm going to go talk to her. Will do, B, Matt said, throwing him a mock salute. Come back soon, Tiger, Rose said teasingly, beaming and blowing him a kiss as he left the ward. Brand caught up to Cass, who was sitting against the wall around the corner, crying. Ah, come on, what's wrong, Cass? Nothing, she answered, wiping her eyes. Rose is nice and all, but I still can't get over her hitting on you, that bitch. Oh, hey, she couldn't help it. I'm just a lady-killing stud. Cassandra hiccuped as she rolled her eyes. You stole that line from Matt. I know, but he won't. Jericho had opened the door to his room, pulled off his bandana, and tossed it on the bed when he felt a pair of arms wrap around his waist. He turned slightly to see Shanna behind him. Hey, she said quietly. Did you miss me? Ah, come on, Shan, what are you doing here? There's nothing against me visiting your dorm. Yeah, except this ain't college. He took in her full appearance and his jaw about dropped. Whoa. She was wearing a baby blue tee under a white cotton zip-up. She also had on blue hip-hugger jeans with glitter winding around one leg and white etnies with light blue symbol. Can you tell I was paying attention to high school fashion in 2006? Did you dress up for me? Well, shit. I forgot to change his name. Jericho said jokingly as he shrugged off his jacket. Or were you going somewhere? No, if I wanted to, I would have just come over wearing a towel. Seeing the look on Jericho's face, she laughed lightly. Man, the last time I edited this, I must have been half asleep or just didn't get all the way through. Good thing I haven't posted it online yet. It's riddled with continuity errors. Seeing the look on Jericho's face, she laughed lightly. Kidding. I was planning on going to the club. Want to come? Which club? Viper's Nest. I heard it was pretty good, and I heard about Heavenly Bodies in Oakhaven, too. Yeah, I heard about it from some of the guys. Too bad you never went. You would have fit right in. Aw, Shanna giggled, giving him a kiss on the cheek. You're sweet. Sure you don't want to come? Nah, I'll just sleep or something. Okay, see you later then. She slipped off and disappeared down the hall. As soon as he was sure she was gone, he went off in search of Commander Priest. On the way there, he bumped into Alexis. Oh, hey Alexis. Hey yourself, Jericho. Where were you going? Just taking a walk. You? Had to get away from Catherine. I don't know why she hates me, but it's bugging me. Don't mind her. Yeah, I guess. This is kind of awkward, huh? Yeah, I haven't talked to you in a while, not since... Jericho gave her a one-armed hug as tears came to her eyes. But, if Shanna likes you, you should, answer her or something. How did you... I had a gut feeling. I'm not mad. Just be happy. As for us, it just doesn't work anymore. I don't think it was ever going to. I guess. I'm just surprised you're taking this so well. Are you kidding? At least this way it doesn't hurt as much. They lapsed into awkward silence again, and then they just shook hands and parted ways. Alexis for a jog through the corridor, and Jericho still in search of the enigmatic commander. He finally found him after 10 more minutes of wandering. Commander! Yes, Jericho? Shanna, she's gone again. What now, Jericho? Put off the poor girl, have you? No, sir, it's that she wanted to go to a club and asked me, slow down, man. Breathe. That's a good lad. Now, what has Shanna done? She went to a club, asked me if I wanted to go too. I said no, and she went, alone. Did she tell you where? Viper's Nest? The commander's face paled. Dear God! When did she leave? About 15 minutes ago. Why? You know that is Crowley's feeding ground, yes? Yeah? Gather everyone. The others, your friends, now! Why, Commander? She may be walking into a trap. Well, said Jericho as he went off again, looks like we've got a party to crash. And that's the end of this chapter, so that's the end of today's video. Ta-ta.